What up, everyone? Back for another video. We got our monthly review this time around, so I hope you enjoyed the in-depth review of the BAM comic box. This should be a pretty short video. We only have 4 boxes right now, and I apologize for the noise in the background. Wolf is chewing on a bone right now, so I'm sure he's going to be adding all kinds of fun background noises. Normally he's asleep at this time, but stayed awake just for this recording. Anyway, if you're new to the channel, what this video is all going to be about, monthly subscription boxes. I'm going to go through them, give a brief description, talk about some value, give it a score, and hopefully by the end of it you'll know which box is best for you or which ones you might have an interest in. Normally we have more, but these are the monthly boxes. Most of the other boxes are either quarterly or bi-monthly, which means they come every other month. But these are the only monthly ones left, with the exception of Loot Crate. It still hasn't shown up. I'm just really nervous at this point because we still haven't gotten the boxes of October from 2021. And we're now well into February. And they just keep charging us, and they have a lot of my money. They have like probably $500 of my money right now, and they're not sending out any products, which makes me very nervous. Because typically when that happens, that means that bankruptcy is in the near future, that it's going to happen very soon. I hope that's not the case with NECA because they're such a big company. I hope they have the capital to back that up, but who knows? It'd be a real shame to see either NECA or that part of NECA go bankrupt and we just all lose money in product. So until we get that box back, we're just stuck with these 4. So without any further ado, and as always, feel free to ask questions at any point. I always read all the comments. I answer every question. Questions about the boxes, things you want to see better, or just about collecting advice in general. Feel free to ask questions on whatever. So let's get right into it. Box number 1, Geek Fuel. Alrighty, and we got a shirt. And I've said this once, and I'll say it again. Geek Fuel has the best shirts. Best in quality. I wouldn't say necessarily the best in design, just best in quality. They're very, very nice. They're very soft. They're fitted. They're just very nice, high quality. So this will get the standard $12 to $15 value, as all shirts do. But as far as a score on this, I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. Not just on the quality, but I like the design. It is actually of Goonies, and it's an original design. It looks like they put some thought and artistic style into it. There really is some thought in there, and the reason it doesn't get like a perfect score is there's little minor things that I would have done differently and changed, but that's just being nitpicky. But it really is a nice shirt. This is one of the few that I will actually wear, and I'm sure that will fit me nice, so this is a very, very well done shirt. And it's from a dope-ass movie. Like, who didn't love the Goonies? So 8.5 as far as the score. Then the main item, we got a Super 7 action figure. We got a few different choices. You either got Pee-wee or the Captain or one of the chair or the TV or something like that. So these figures are pretty collectible and they are very expensive. But the value on this is going to be around $15 to $20. It kind of depends on which figure you got. Pee-wee obviously goes for the most, and then this is probably the cheapest one. So it's somewhere in that $15 to $20 range, which is cheaper than they normally are, but so that's the value on that. And I'm glad they at least picked something that fit this time because we've been running into problems with this box, specifically with Geek Fuel. They've just been like jamming things in there and they show up just all dented and bent and things like that. And it's like, what's the point of getting these things if they're going to arrive damaged? Quiet. No. So I'm glad they picked something that fit, so that's good. Next, we got an Ornament. So this is obviously some holiday themed stuff, which is unfortunate. I know there's been tons of shipping delays due to COVID, still shipping delays, so we're just now getting holiday boxes, which is kind of weird. So I think in the future they should either not make them specific to holidays, or they should start them like way back in July. That way we have stuff ready for Christmas. Because when a December box shows up at the end of the month, Christmas is almost over and then we don't really have a use for these things. So they should really push it back a few months so you have the items ready for the holiday season. Or again, just avoid it altogether. Anyway, this ornament's going for around like $15 to $17. But here's the problem with a lot of these values. That's what they're being listed as, but they're not being sold as that. So it's hard to give it an exact value, so that's just a best estimation on what you would have to pay if you wanted to purchase it, but it doesn't seem like anyone really wanted this, so it's hard to give it that kind of value, but that's all I have to go off of, so 15 to 17. Then we got some Woof. Sorry. Will you just chill out? Are you going to stay there? You sniff me? Okay. Then we got some socks, and these are from Gremlins, just some classic crew socks. And the value on these is only like $5 or $6. These are incredibly cheap. Socks in general are very cheap, and especially when they come in these boxes, they just get sold very easily. Like, I don't really wear these type of socks, so pretty cheap there. So that brings our total value on the low end 47, on the high end 58. This is a $30 box, so on the high end, you're getting double the value, but again, that's the high end, which I really wouldn't value this stuff at. Like I was saying with the Ornament, technically you would have to pay that to get it, but no one really wants that, so is it really worth that? So for those reasons, I'm going to give this box a 5.5 out of 10. With the exception of the shirt, everything in here was just okay. It wasn't bad, it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't really good either. Obviously, the Ornament came late, but even if it hadn't, it's not really great in quality. It doesn't look super nice. And then the socks, same thing. They're just cheap in quality. And the Super 7 figure, I know some people like it. I'm just not a fan of Super 7, especially these cheaper ones. Even back in the day when they were reaction figures from Funko, I just never really liked them. I don't like the style. I think they're very overrated and very overvalued in my opinion. So I love Pee-wee. That was great. So yeah, I love the shirt, but everything else was just like, meh. And again, I've said it so many times before, it feels like we're missing an item. We used to get at least 5 items, if not 6 or 7, and now we're just kind of getting 4, and I guess that's just the new standard. So this box has been slowly dipping down. This was like the best box I was getting for a very long time. This was on the top, and it was such a great price, and now it's slowly declining, and this is just kind of seems like the beginning of the end for this company, which sucks because they had so much potential, but if they're not getting enough business or if they're having problems and they can't make enough money, then it's just a slow death, and that's very unfortunate to see. I hope it doesn't happen, but kind of seems like that's the direction it's going. Next, we got the BAM Geek, or as I call it, the BAM Classic, because this was the original BAM box. And I still like this one, so it's one I'll probably always get because it's just, I don't know, I like it. Alright, let's start off with the autograph. Alright, what was the name? Tony Cox. So I actually recognize him. Most people recognize him from Bad Santa, but he's been in a bunch of other comedy movies. He's been in tons of movies over the years. So I think this is a pretty good autograph. It's definitely recognizable. Like always with the BAM box, it's not people where I would know them by name, but it's people I absolutely recognize and can list off movies they've been in. So I think this is a really good choice, and yeah, I really like it. So value on this is going to be $30 to $35, which I think is merited. He's not like super famous household name, but I think the majority of people would recognize who he is because he's been in so many movies over the years. So I'm not surprised that it's worth a little more than the average signature. On average, signatures are usually worth in that $20 to $30 range. This one's just a little bit over, so $30 to $35 on that. Then we got our print, our Artist Alley art print. We got one from Firefly. The artist is Matt Atkins. And he's an artist as well, too, but I've been saying this for a while, and I've been asking this on my videos for people to weigh in, so thank you for all the people that do weigh in when I ask questions, and I still want you to. I want people's opinions on this Artist Alley, because I've been saying for a while they should get rid of it, because the prints, like, they really don't sell, they're not worth a lot, and the artists are not really famous anymore, and the quality, this one's nice, but the quality on some of the recent ones has been really, really low, so it's just kind of there, and it's, I don't know, I've just gotten tired of it. And I've asked a lot of people to weigh in, and again, it's just kind of been mixed. There's been some people that say they really like it, and other people that are like me, like they don't hate it or anything, but they just get boxes, after a while of getting them so long, they just find themselves taking them off the wall to clear space for more important things, and that's just kind of what it is. It's not bad in any way, but it just doesn't seem worth it anymore. And I think they should do things like they did with the BAM comic box, where they do an exclusive coin or something like that and just mix it up. And I know they do prop replicas in here, but, you know, switch it out every once in a while. Like, mix it up. Artist Alley every once in a while, sure. But every single time, like, it seems too forced. So, anyway, value on this is going to be like $12 to $15, which is pretty standard for these. But, again, they don't sell for that price. So, is it really worth that? And that's the problem I keep seeing. People will list it for that price, but it doesn't sell. So, it doesn't seem like it's really worth that. Then we got our prop replica, and we got some matchbooks from Back to the Future. There's 3 different versions of the changing matchbooks, and I really like this case it came in, because when it showed up, the matchbooks were all jostled around, and they weren't, like, lined up, and I was like, that's lame. But this case is actually really convenient and easy to, like, open up and then realign them and then close it up. So that's actually a really cool case. I really like that a lot. So I like the display of that, and then it came with a little base too to stick it on, so that's very cool. So as far as value on this, $15 to $20. There weren't a lot of listings online, but you know, it's not crazy valuable. This is just plastic and they're just matchbooks, so it's nothing crazy there. There's not a ton of effort put into it, but it's still cool to have, and it's a really cool display. So 15 to 20 on that. Then we got our pins. And this is something I'm really curious about. For years, they would give one pin, but they would have like 5 options. And now it seems they switched it, which I kind of gave them advice to do, but now they're only giving 2 options, but they give you both pins each time. And it seems like that's going to be the new standard, which is fine, nothing wrong with that, but a bit odd. Why they would go from giving like 4 or 5 options down to 2, and then just give you both. Like, why not at least have more options to mix it up? If still give 2, that's fine, but have 4 options and switch it up. I don't know. It's not good or bad. It just seems like a very odd choice for me, and I'm just curious what the reasoning is behind that. But I'm not complaining, though. I'm getting 2 pins here, and they do fantastic pins, so really no complaints here at all. So I'm happy to get 2 pins. I'm just curious why they wouldn't give more choices. So if anyone knows in the comments, maybe someone that works for the company might know personally. I just curious. So these ones actually, surprisingly, were only going for $12 to $15 for the pair. Usually they're around $25 because typically each one would get valued around $12 to $15 and the pair would be around $25. But for some reason, these 2 are only going for $12 to $15, and I don't understand why. It's so odd because these pins are very collectible, so I find it very strange that all of a sudden these 2, and it was a cool movie, Batman Returns, so very odd to me why they aren't going for more. And the same thing is with the last box we had, with the cartoon box, we had Bob's Burgers characters, but none of the main characters. And here we have Batman characters, but no Batman. So again, just more questions rise. Like, they give 2 options of 2 pins, but where's Batman? Like, it's Batman movie. Why is there no Batman pin? So I don't know. Very strange. I just have so many questions about that. But $12 to $15 on that. Then we got our little artist select card. Now this is actually by Chris Meeks. And if it's the same Chris Meeks that I know, he's actually a very famous, and he does this a lot. He does little artist cards, and they sell for hundreds of dollars. But those are the actual artist cards, not just copies of them. So that same artist sells for really high amounts. So this little tiny card here, there's a lot of listings for $10, and some of them sold at that, so I was going to be generous and give it a $10 value. Personally, I don't think it's worth that. I don't really care for the cards, but some people do, so it gets some value. So that brings our value on the low end of 79 and on the high end of 95. This ends up being around $40, $45 box, so you're pretty much getting double the value, and that's pretty nice. And I really like the signature. Like I said, I'm indifferent about the art prints, but some people seem to like it, so that's all that matters. As long as someone enjoys it, or at least most people are enjoying it, then I'd say keep it in, and I'm trying to figure out if most people do or just a few people do. And the prop replica was good. It wasn't mind-blowing or anything like that. Got 2 pins, got a nice artist card. So overall, I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. I think they did a good job. Everything in here was liked and enjoyable. The only thing that's probably not worth a ton is the Artist Alley print. But, you know, it's still really nice in quality. They did a good job on it. It looks nice. So there it is. 8 out of 10 on that. Good job. Bam box. All right. Moving right along. Next, another from the BAM box. We got the BAM cartoon box. Now, this is one of my personal favorites. When I heard this one announced, I jumped right on it because it looked fantastic. So, let's start off with the autograph. And this one is Scott Grimes, who is Steve on American Dad. Really great. This is why I like the cartoon box, because it's always, again, never people I know by name, but characters I always recognize. They're from very famous cartoons, and they're very popular. So yeah, I'm really excited to get this. I think this is very cool. So good job on that. This one's going to get a $30 value. That's the cheapest you can get it, and kind of goes up from there depending on what picture you got and how they sign it, so on and forth. So about $30 for that. Same thing here with the Artist Alley. It's not bad or anything like that. This is by Gary Celian. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. I have no idea. The art print looks good. It has some art style to it. This is one of the nicer prints I've seen as far as like art style of the print. Like I like the can't even think of the word. I like how it looks basically. So I like how this one looks here, but it's just they're very low on value. again, these are listed for about $10 online, but they're not selling for that, so is it really worth that? So if you wanted to purchase this, you'd have to pay $10, but it doesn't really seem like anyone wants it. They're not selling online, so it kind of seems like what I've been saying is true, that there's just not much of a want or need for these things. It's not bad that they're in there, but switch it up. Try something else. So $10 on that. Then we got a sketch from the Fantastic Four. This is the one I got. And this is great, and I got a really good one actually, which is great because if you watched my video from last month, I got a shitty one. Mine was like the worst I've seen. I looked at all the listings and videos online. Mine was the absolute worst. Now this one, it seems like the absolute best. It's a full frame shot, a full frame of a character. That's about as good as you get with other than getting like a team shot or something like that. You mostly just get individual characters, and as far as individual characters go, this is pretty good. And we got some additional like action going on here, so this is a really good one. So as far as the value on this, it gets a $20 to $30 range. Why such a big range? It's because it depends on what you get. It depends on what character you get. It depends on what they're doing in the scene. It depends on how big they are, how much of it they fill up. Very similar to comic pages. If you've ever bought like comic artwork, it just depends on what's going on, what character's there, if it's a full splash page or if it's a bunch of little stuff. So it varies all over the place. So around $20 to $30. So that's both the good and bad part about it, is that you could get a really bad one that's not worth anything, or you could get a really nice one. Last month I got a shitty one. This one I got a nice one. So it just is kind of a toss-up, but not crazy big difference. But I like that they did the Fantastic Four. I actually bought one of these myself, and I have it framed, and now I'm going to keep this one too. Mine was also of the Thing, which I'm kind of bummed about. I wish I got a different character, but you know, no big deal. But this is amazing. This is this kind of stuff that I totally nerd out on. Normally when they promote their boxes, they like really overhype stuff. But this I really agree with, because it really is an original, one-of-a-kind piece of art. It's from a show, and yeah, they make a lot of cells, but each one is one of a kind. There's no other like it. So each one is a one-of-a-kind original piece of art, and I think that's amazing. That's why I was so excited to get this box. And they kind of mix it up. So far, we've just gotten sketches, but I'm sure every once in a while they'll throw a cell in there or something like that, so they'll probably toss it up a little bit. But yeah, I was really excited about that. Good choice. And then we got some pins. Same situation here as the other ones. It's good. I like it, but we got Krusty and Mr. Burns. So 2 Simpsons pins, but again, none of the main characters. And why? There has to be more to the story here. They have to be probably printing a whole line of them, and maybe the lesser characters they're giving away in the box, and the main characters maybe they're selling on their site or something like that. There has to be more of a story, because why are they doing these big franchises and not giving any of the main characters? Maybe it has something to do with COVID. Maybe they've been getting backed up on pins, but even still, why wouldn't they pick like Homer and Bart or Marge and Lisa or something like that? So I don't know. Just seems so odd to me. Again, it could be some weird explanation, but I hope that changes. I hope they give more character options and, you know, something like that. Anyway, this pair gets $25 value, which I think is pretty standard. Like I was saying with the last box, they usually get 12 to 15 a piece. The pair is around $25, and that's what it is, so good there. So again, not complaining. Love that we get 2 pins, but, you know, whatever. So that brings our value. You know, it's something I did just realize. They do different versions. I just noticed this as I was looking at it. I didn't realize I got glitter versions. And it does say be on the lookout for the Chase glitter set. So I did get the Chase version. So there is options, apparently. There's regular and then there's glitter. But again, if they were given more options, why not just do more characters? So I'm glad I got the Chase ones. They're worth a little bit more. I'm not selling them, so it doesn't matter. But, you know, good to know. And that brings the value on the low end of 85 and on the high end of 95. So again, this is around that $40 to $50 range box, depending on your taxes and shipping. So I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. I think this is slowly becoming my favorite box, just me personally. I'm not saying it's going to be everyone's favorite, but my favorite. I really like one-of-a-kind artwork. I really like cells. I've always liked them. I've always collected them. Great pins. I really like the signatures from the animes, the voiceover actors. I think those are always my favorite autographs. So keeping everything in this box, I really like it. And even though the lowest point is still the Artist Alley, I still like this print. It looks cool. But I really think they should switch this out and try some other things. Just my opinion there. But yeah, 8 out of 10 on that. All right. And one more box, also from BAM. But this is one that I did an individual video on. It was my most recent video. So if you're interested in more in-depth analysis of this, you can go check that out there. But I'll go through the stuff really quick. I'll show the pictures. CGC comic was going for around 100 to 130. The comics itself, 15 to 20. The coin, 10 to 25. And the mount, $10. Still very little information on this box. And I even checked it again today to see if there's any more info. But for some reason, no one's listing or selling any of these things except the CGC comic, which is so unbelievably odd. I find that very, very strange. But I only gave this box a 5.5 out of 10 because it's just so expensive. It's a really nice box, and it's good stuff that they give you, and I really enjoyed it. But it ends up being like $110 a month, every month, if they haven't switched to a bi-monthly system, that is. But yeah, that's a lot of money, and you're barely getting your value's worth. So if you happen to not like the comic or not want it, you have to go through the trouble of selling it, and you'd be lucky to get your money back. It's just too much money to risk every month. If they had it at a lower price point, like a $50 to $60 box or something like that, yeah, it'd be totally worth it and it'd be fantastic. But they're just charging an outrageous price. So I've given the advice before, and you're better off just sending in your own comics. The only problem is you're going to have a hard time getting a 9.8 because it has to be in pretty much perfect condition to get graded that. So that's really the only downside of sending it in yourself. But the upside of that is you're not wasting any money. You get exactly what you want, and you're not going to get it signed. But again, it's not signed by anyone crazy. It's not signed by like Stan Lee or something. It's signed by the cover artists, which are like somewhat famous, but it's nothing spectacular there. So I always say you're much better off just getting your own comics graded. They do give exclusive comics in here, which is great, and every once in a while, I said in the original video, there will be comics that they grade that are going to be outstandingly like valuable, because every once in a while they're going to hit the perfect thing right on the head where it's the right character and the right artist and the right signature and the right thing. Everything's going to come into place, and it's going to be worth a fortune. But I'm not going to pay $100 a month for that option to happen maybe once a year. So in my opinion, it's just not worth it. But if you've got the money and you don't mind spending the time and you just want some graded comics, sure, go for it, because the exclusivity of it is worth it. You're not going to find them anywhere else, but it's just too high a risk for me, not really worth it. So 5.5 out of 10 on that. And yeah, that's it. Really short video, probably the shortest one ever. This is the last time we're going to see the BAM's comics box. This is the third time I did it. I gave it enough tries, and they've come a long way, and it is much better than when we started, but still too much. I may reconsider it. I may keep an eye on and reconsider it later if the value significantly goes up, but I'm going to take a break from that for a while. But the other ones, cartoon, regular BAM are here. Geek Fuel's here. Loot Crate will come eventually. And then there's the quarterly ones that'll come too. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. And as always, let me know if you have any questions. I will answer them there anytime. Thank you all for watching and supporting. See you on the next video. Love you all. Peace. You sleeping? You're so tired. Oh, sleepy boy.